Hello chemistry students, this is the notes for section 4.2 on the structure of the nuclear atom. So with this, remember that you just need to record the information that's in blue. So we're talking about subatomic particles first. So with this, there are three kinds of subatomic particles. Those are the electrons, protons, and neutrons. Those are the only ones that you need to know about. But the learning goal for this is you want to differentiate between the properties of protons, neutrons, and electrons. So you want to know their relative mass, relative to each other. So you want to compare their mass to each other, and then also their charge and how those are in those atoms. And then this will be summarized in a chart later on in the notes. But before we get to that, so you want to record some of this stuff. The electrons were discovered by J.J. Thomson. So he did an experiment where he figured out that there had to be some type of particle that was smaller than an atom that had a negative charge. So he discovered the electrons. So you don't need to know about the experiment, but it was summarized in the notes there. You don't need to know this, but Robert Millikan discovered the charge of the electrons in an oil drop experiment. But you want to record this. Atoms have no net electric charge. That means they're electrically neutral. So that means the positive charge and negative charge have to cancel each other out in an atom. Okay, so then you have the positively charged subatomic particles are called protons. And then you have neutrons are subatomic particles with no charge but with a mass nearly equal to that of a proton. So this is the table that you want to record in your notes. So you have the three subatomic particles, you have their three different symbols, you have their relative charge, and the name Millikan is typed there. That's the name of the person that discovered the charge on the electron. Now you don't need to know that, so you can leave that off if you want. Then you have the relative mass, where we're saying the mass of the proton is 1. So a proton and a neutron have about the same mass, but an electron is quite a bit smaller. Now if you're talking about actual mass, it's extremely small, so very tiny. But on the atomic level, these two are equal and this one is quite a bit less. And then you can record the name of the person that discovered it. But now these names you don't need to know for the exam, okay? And then just to let you know, leave space for another column on the right side. We're going to add one more thing to this table later on. Okay, so then there's another learning goal where you describe the composition of the nucleus and its overall charge. So a little background on this. So J.J. Thomson, he's the guy that discovered the electron. So from his discovery, he came up with an atomic model, or a way to describe what he thought the atom was like. So his model is called the plum pudding model. So you probably don't know what plum pudding is. It's this British thing. It doesn't sound very good. I would call it more like a blueberry muffin. That's probably something that you know a little bit about. Where he said that electrons would be like the blueberries in a blueberry muffin, and they would be surrounded by the positively charged stuff that's in the atom. So that was his idea of what the atom was like, just negatively charged particles surrounded by positively charged mass. So this guy named Ernest Rutherford, he was trying to set up an experiment to prove that J.J. Thomson's model of the atom was correct. But when he went through this experiment, and now you do not need to know the details of the experiment, but it was called the gold foil experiment, where he shot alpha particles at a real thin layer of gold. So he was trying to prove J.J. Thomson right, but what he found was that there was something in the atom that was positively charged and very, very dense. So you want to record his conclusions here, that all of the positive charge and almost all of the mass are concentrated in a small region. And then from that, he came up with his model of the atom, and a new model of the atom, not the plum pudding thing anymore, but a nuclear model. So this is what Rutherford came up with for his nuclear model of the atom. That protons and neutrons are located in the positively charged nucleus, and the electrons are distributed around the nucleus and occupy almost all the volume of the atom. And you probably also want to record that the nucleus is very small compared to the rest of the atom, and it's very, very dense. And then this is the other part that you want to add. And then this is the chapter 4 learning goal, where we recognize the relative location of the 3 subatomic particles in the atom. And that's this last column right here. So you want to add that to the table from before. And the electrons are found in the cloud. The cloud is just the region around the nucleus. Sometimes it's called the electron cloud. And then the protons and neutrons are found in the nucleus. And that is all the notes for section 2. Here's some vocab terms for section 2. And that is it.